I know nobody's at work today worried about getting jumped or anything, but I'm just saying, as a precaution, keep your head on the swivel.
That's good advice all the time. Keep
You know
your
what I
head
mean?
on
Keep
a
your head
swivel.
on swivel, man. Keep your head on swivel.
You never know what's coming here.
Never know what's coming.
But if you want to get in, start the show, 215-592-9494 is how you join in. And obviously, big topic, still discussing a lot of fallout from the A.J. Brown interview with the afternoon show on Friday. And we'll get to every different aspect of it throughout the course of the show today. But as we're looking at this thing here, kind of want to project this and how it kind of makes you feel about things moving forward. And that's where we'll start today. Did the A.J. Brown interview with the afternoon guys, Jack and Ike, on Friday, does it make you feel better or worse about the Eagles moving forward? And if you want to get in 215-592-9494, what about you, Hugh? After hearing what A.J. Brown had to say on Friday with Jack and Ike, does it make you feel better or worse about the Eagles?
I feel better about A.J. I've never felt bad about him, but I felt good that he finally got his side of the story out there. Now, I know that there's still a lot to unpack, and a lot of times you will be told that, you know, the best thing to do in situations like this is not say anything, but I think he just had to. A.J. is a prideful person, man, and for me, it played out exactly like I always thought it did. I never thought A.J. was the guy that he was portrayed to be in the media by certain members of you know, the fan base and things of that nature. And it was clear that everything that was being said about him bothered him. So he just came on in the best of his ability. Like, he tried to let it go for as long as he could, you know, doing all the petty tweets and stuff like that, saying that he didn't do it.
Some of them allegedly weren't him.
Oh, man, yeah.
Clear that up. Yeah.
Allegedly. And I'm gonna let him live with that one. But, you know, he did kind of. I mean, I get it because I'm petty. And I get in trouble every day for some of the things that I say or want to say on Twitter. So I know exactly where he's coming from when it's that, especially when people are attacking your character. So I respect him in that sense, man. He got tired of it. And, you know, even though he gave people more cannon fodder, I do respect the fact that he came on and cleared the air as much as he possibly could.
So overall, you feel a little better about it?
Yeah, I feel a little better about it. Yeah. It's still, I feel like this, TK. It's repairable. It's repairable. You just got to sit down and you got to talk about it, man. There's nothing that, you know, time and communication can't heal, in my opinion. I mean, sometimes it takes a little bit more time and a little bit more communication, but I think that they're still there. And I think the bottom line that what I gather from what he was talking about, he wants to win, man. You know, when you're driven to win, you'll make some serious sacrifices, and I feel like he will do that. He will do what's needed to be done in order to get to where he wants to be.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And if you want to get in 215-592-9494, do you feel better about the Eagles after hearing from A.J. Brown on Friday? And you hope that's the fallout of this. Now, the way I look at this thing here, I respect A.J. for calling in. A lot of guys say they'll do that. A.J. actually did it, so respect to him for that. But I certainly don't feel better about the situation because, you know, regardless of what A.J. had to say, doesn't change anything. Like, it doesn't change the fact that this team fell apart at the end of the year. It doesn't change the fact that A.J. wasn't a huge part of the offense down the stretch. And one thing that worried me coming into this season, Hugh, after 2022, when things came so easily to this team, is how would they react when dealing with adversity? And they didn't react well this year. And I don't think A.J. reacted well to adversity this year. One of the things that he mentioned is, you know, not wanting to talk to the media because he thought it would make things worse if he did. I actually think it made things worse that he didn't speak to the media and open things up to speculation. But if this is how, like, this team deals with adversity, that worries me moving forward, that you lose 6 out of 7 and there are potentially issues behind the scenes. And there is this, I guess, sensitivity to criticism, not just from A.J., but other guys in the locker room. That's what worries me, and that's why I look at it, and I don't feel better about it.
I look at it like this, TK. This was uncharted territory for a lot of guys. And I would say, you know, and this is not an excuse, but this is probably what it was. A lot of people didn't know how to handle adversity because they weren't used to it coming in the form that it came in. Now, I would say for A.J., for him to be in Tennessee and having that fan base and being what it was down there, to having the success that he had here in Philadelphia, and then having the success that he had early on in the season, to going from the guy that everybody loved to somebody that's perceived as a cancer, that's a broad spectrum to have to deal with in such a short period of time.
Absolutely.
Because think about it like this, TK. 6 weeks into the season, he was that guy. He was loved and adored by everybody. And then all of a sudden, one blow up on the sideline left all of us to speculate on his relationship with Jalen. Now, we let it go because they were winning. But as the team started to slide, a lot of people pointed back to that moment. Oh, there it was right there. That's where it went bad. A.J. Brown's the problem. And given the history of what we've had to deal with from receivers, that's the easy person to pick on. And he had to sit there and he had to take that on. And on top of that, his play started to dwindle. So now he's dealing with that, and he's trying not to say nothing. He's trying to be a good teammate and all this other stuff, and he's trying to hang in there. But all of this is going on at once, and now he's being blamed for the team's problems. That's a lot of weight.
It is.
It's a lot of weight.
It is, definitely. And if you want to get into 215-592-9494, and yeah, I just hope that it doesn't go this way again next year, because odds are they're going to lose some games. They're going to face some adversity. It just worries me after seeing what happened this year with AJ, what happened with the rest of the team. How are they going to deal with that kind of stuff moving forward? And I want to get your take on this, Kyle Quinn, producing the show today. How do you feel after the interview, Kyle? Do you feel better or do you feel worse about the Eagles after hearing AJ speak?
I definitely don't feel worse. I think really the perspective that I came into this whole thing with was like, I just want answers. This whole time, I wanted answers about why the season collapsed the way it did, what was going on with some of the cryptic answers or the non-answers that we got from guys, including like A.J. Brown about his relationship with Jalen Hurts, how the locker room was, stuff like that. Like, I would say, if anything, I feel a little bit more enlightened, and I would say that A.J. brought something, I guess, to my attention that I hadn't really fully considered, because we talk a lot about how we want Jalen Hurts to be more of a vocal leader and all that stuff. But if he's not going to be, and A.J. Brown is going to step up and be that guy, like, I mean, that at least provides a little more clarity to some of the things that I had questions about toward the end of the season. So I guess I would say that I feel more enlightened about what went down, or at least sort of where AJ's mindset is at, where his headspace is, than I did before, which I would definitely say makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, we did get some answers to questions that we've wanted the answer to, and I do think that was one of the most important parts of this thing here. And one of the questions that we all kind of had going into this offseason is, does AJ want to be in Philadelphia? There's the situation with the Kay Adams interview a couple weeks ago where it was not totally clear, but here was AJ on Friday when asked about his future and whether he wants to be in Philadelphia.
Your state of mind, your happiness with being an Eagle currently and moving forward. Let's start with that one, about your feelings about being a Philadelphia Eagle now and for the foreseeable future.
I have no problem. I want to be here. It's as simple as that. I love where I'm at. As simple as that. Next question.
And Hugh, I think we can all agree that's a positive. The fact that he wants to be here, said it definitively, that's something we all wanted to hear.
Yeah, that is what we all were speculating. And a lot of people have been speculating whether or not, he deserves to be here. I think he does. I think this team is a totally different team if A.J. Brown isn't here. And I also think that whatever these problems are, they can be resolved with communication. Like, the thing that I think that I know for a fact is this. Winning trumps everything. Winning championships. I think that the guys that we've assembled on this football team, and he's one on A.J. Brown, wants to win a championship. He got a taste of what it felt like, two things: to be in a city where he's adored and has a tremendous amount of success, and a taste of what it's like to be in a Super Bowl, be one of the last two teams playing. Dude, that's infectious. And when you get to that point, like, there are certain things that you're willing to forego in order to get back to that. And I don't think that whatever these issues are, that they're so egregious that these guys can't get it together and get back on track. That's why I've been so bullish. Like, I know this defense is bad. It's horrible. They need some talent. I get that. But the way that this offense is constructed, if you put the right people in place and you put them in position to be successful, I think this offense could be virtually unstoppable. This could be almost the equivalent to the greatest show on turf when they were good.
Yeah, I mean, they have all the talent.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. And that is, I think, a unanimously shared opinion. We all want A.J. Brown here, and with him, the Eagles are a much better team. Now, here's a little more from A.J. talking about some of the locker room dynamics toward the end of last season.
You said that you guys gave us the answers for what happened on the stretch run. In your estimation, what do you think what is the answer? What do you think happened for that to happen, and is this locker room okay?
Yeah, the locker room is fine. Like I said earlier in the season, or after the season, whatever, I just said players wasn't executing, like I said in the interview. That's what it came down to. I think the media kind of ran with the coaches. It's the coaches' fault. The coaches didn't prepare us and this and that. I never blame the coaches. I'm not the person to blame the coach. I'm not trying to blame anyone. You know, I'm the guy who's going to look in the mirror and going to challenge everybody else. Like, it was the players not executing, and that's what happened. And if you look back closely, Ike said it a few seconds ago that we were playing like the best team in the league. No, we wasn't. We may have had the best record in the league, but we wasn't playing like the best team in the league. It was like that all year.
Yeah.
But we were scratching away getting wins. And so when stuff started to really unravel and stuff like that, stuff started to not go as planned, then you saw what was happening. And then, like I said earlier, it was a domino effect, and it was trying to stop the bleed, and it was just everything was just going too fast at that point.
Now, I thought that answer was really enlightening, Hugh, when he talks about, they were 10-1, but they weren't playing their best football. And that's kind of the stuff we saw, but it was nice to hear a player on the team actually admit, we weren't as good as our record indicated.
Yeah, and that was obvious, and they were trying to fix it. I think the biggest thing that I took from that is that he's trying to be as forthcoming as he can and still not throw the team under the bus. There's a lot that, I haven't heard the whole interview in its entirety yet. I missed it a couple times that they played it Friday, but I haven't heard it in its entirety yet. But what I gathered from what he was saying was he's still trying to fix whatever the problem is in this locker room, and he's trying not to throw anybody under the bus, which is fine. I have no problem with that. And at the same time, he's defending his position and what people are saying about him. That has to be tough, man. AJ is dealing with, to me, the stigma of the position. The stigma of being a receiver in the NFL. Being a guy who's a passionate player who has been lumped into, unfortunately for us, the history that we've had with diva receivers.
Yes.
And
we have had a history.
And see, this is where I implore everybody to just think for yourself on this one, because the problem is this. It's easy to look at him and say, oh, he reminds me of T.O. Must be a T.O. thing. I never got that. I never got that from when I heard him speak, the way that I've been around him a few times, his demeanor. I never got that. Now, he's a receiver. He has receiver dividum in him, but he's not that guy that I feel that is going to be perceived to fragment the locker room. He's not an AB, because I won't even say T.O., because I think when you think about what T.O. went through, T.O. felt more disrespected than anything. Right. And that's why it went the way that it did. AB is he's just a different animal. Yeah. And that's why I say he's not that. No. A.J. Brown is not that.
No, I agree. I don't think A.J.'s one of those guys either. Now, I do think when you see him and Jalen Hurts or him and a coach kind of arguing or disagreeing on the sideline, that's obviously going to lead to speculation. Now, I don't think it necessarily, like you said, means he's T.O. or a receiver like that.